to Monday with the Mavens. We're making lunch with you guys and we're so excited. I'm gonna go back over there.
Yeah, it's our kitchen. It's cooking with Mavens today on this Monday. I'm actually gonna grab
We wanted to show you guys just in real life, without having pre-prepped anything, how quick and easy you can make a delicious lunch with just having a few things on hand. There's a cat fighting up our tripod, so bear with us. So our goal today is to actually show you guys what we're using, how you can mix things up to hit your own macros, because both Haley and I have slightly different needs, how quick things can be, and some of the things that we love to have on hand. So we're just gonna make a very simple salmon salad. We eat this literally at least a couple times a week, all the time when we're together.
Yep, at least every single Monday, just about. And you can modify you guys as needed. So if you have things that you like, if you don't like salmon, if you would rather have chicken or beef or shrimp or tofu or whatever it is, you can absolutely do that. So feel free to modify as needed. We're gonna start with like a bed of greens. And so I have like some baby spring mix, some spinach. Emmy's gonna throw the salmon into a super hot pan.
And what I wanna show you guys is both Haley and I use this individually wrapped frozen salmon, and I'll just always have a couple out in my fridge that are thawed. You can get them from Butcher Box, you can get them from Costco, you can get them from Thrive. It just makes it really simple. Salmon is just such a great source of protein and healthy fats because you're gonna get your omega-3 in it. And so what's nice is these are already thawed. I just slice it out. I'm gonna start by just putting the skin down in the pan.
I forgot to get you
because then when I flip it, I peel the skin off and flip it one more time. You can also get it skinless, but that's just how I like to do it. And so I just have a pair of scissors here, and I'm just gonna cut this off. I'm gonna go skin down. And then we are in Haley's kitchen, so I might have to ask for a few things. You can season it however you like. With salmon, oftentimes, when I'm doing it in a skillet, I'll use a cast iron skillet. You're gonna cook it literally for like 5 minutes or less, and your lunch is gonna be ready because you chop up the rest of your stuff while it's cooking. All I'm gonna put on the top of here is I'm gonna put lemon juice. This is an olive oil spray. It just makes it super simple. I put it in the bottom of the pan. I'm also just going to spray the top of it so it has a little coating of oil. And you can track that. This I get from Thrive. I also get an avocado oil one that I really like from Thrive. You can also get that from Costco, from Traders. Can you trash that? Oh,
I'm just gonna throw it in the mix.
Okay. And then I just like to use fresh lemon. You can also use just lemon juice to put on there. And so what I'm gonna do on the salmon is I'm just gonna squeeze some lemon on there, and then Haley got out a cilantro lime salt, which looks delicious. I have an alma salt at home that I love. I'll use garlic salt on there. I'll use a blackened seasoning sometimes. It just really depends on what you like. You just need to chop that really fast. And so usually when I'm making this by myself, I can have a 5-minute lunch, and I'll just be chopping stuff while my salmon is cooking.
And one thing too, you guys, so I'm going to throw some bell pepper on this, and I should probably turn this on, otherwise my fire alarm will go off.
Hoping you guys can still hear us.
We'll start yelling if we need to, but if you are tracking your macros, I build my salad on my scale all the time, so I will just cut up whatever I'm going to be using, whether it's bell peppers, cheese, pine nuts, some of the things that we're going to throw on here, and I just measure as we go. So the key to tracking your food, you guys, and to making sure you stay on track is to log before you eat, right? So if I turn on my scale, I zero it out. I didn't weigh my greens, but if you want to, go ahead. If you're tracking really closely, you should. But I'm gonna throw, I'll tell you guys how much. Oh, I don't know, about 40 grams or so of bell pepper on these salads. Both of us like bell peppers, so Emmy's not tracking. Actually, neither am I right now. And so whatever your macros, whatever works within your macros, put that on there. I'm also going to throw, Emmy really likes pine nuts. I do too, but I don't want to use those fats. I'd rather have cheese on my salad than pine nuts.
And I am in a place where I'll have a little bit more fat, and so that's what's so nice with the build your own salad. Pine nuts, like any type of nut, you guys, goes a long ways.
Yeah.
You get a lot of fat and a little bit of nuts, so you just want to be careful with that.
I'll have a few.
So I love nuts and cheese on my salad. I do very minimal dairy just because by nature it's inflammatory, but I will allow myself like some coastal cheese on a salad or my 2 Good yogurts in the morning. So I'm just selective. I love cheese, and so I fit it in where I want to. The other thing is that you can kind of choose your own adventure in terms of what you want from a macro balance standpoint. So a good way to do that from a fat standpoint is the type of meat you put on there is going to dictate how much fat you get if you're using a fattier cut of something or a leaner cut of something. And then things like nuts and cheese really add up from fats dressing really adds up from fats. From a carb standpoint, the things that are going to really add up is what you're adding on there from a vegetable and fruit standpoint. I like some fruit on my salad. We have two options here today. One is a Honeycrisp apple, which is going to be much higher in carbs. It's also going to be a little bit more glycemic, but it's delicious on the salad. So it depends on where you are with your carbs. It has fiber though. The other option is a pear, or you could do some seasonal berries, and that's going to be a little bit less of a glycemic load and a little bit lower in carbohydrates.
The other carbs you can pick, you guys, I'm throwing some cucumbers on here. You can basically eat as much cucumber as you want. Cucumber is a free food almost, very few carbs, and so it's very high volume. You can get a ton of, a lot of bang for your buck when it comes to cucumbers. I'm also, let's see, I have some, this is the unexpected cheese from Trader Joe's, which is very similar to the Coastal. And I'm going to put a little bit of this on my salad. Do you want some of this on yours too?
I just want to show you really quick. When I flipped that salmon, it's probably been just a couple minutes. The skin came right off. There's no skin left on there. It's beautiful. I like my salmon slightly undercooked. Haley likes hers just cooked. And so salmon does continue to cook a little bit when you pull it off, but I don't like overdone salmon. Salmon needs to be done just right.
It does need to be done just right. Yeah. And so with the cheese, you know, again, I like to weigh out my cheese. It's really easy to get a lot of cheese, and then you're going to end up blowing through your fats pretty quickly. So 1 ounce is 28 grams, and that's about 9 grams of fat, and give or take about 6-ish grams of protein. So I'll throw some cheese on here.
And then one way that a lot of is salt and pepper.
It's salt. It's like nettles.
Oh,
salt
perfect.
and nettles.
I'm just throwing it. Anything that I want. So once I flipped this, I added a little bit more lemon juice, and then I also added a little spritz of olive oil, and now I'm adding a little bit more seasoning. And then one way to check with salmon, I oftentimes like, you know, I like my meat to look presentable, so you want to be careful, but I just like to kind of put my spatula in there, and I can see how pink it is right in the middle. I take my salmon off when there's still a little bit of dark pink right in the middle. I also really trust my salmon sources. Preferably with salmon, you're going to want wild caught. And, you know, you can choose where you want to put your funds in terms of organic versus non-organic, in terms of free range versus non-free range, in terms of grass-fed versus non-grass-fed, all of those things. With salmon, I really like a wild caught, good, like Alaskan salmon.
You really should be eating wild caught salmon. You shouldn't be eating farmed salmon for lots of different reasons. Yeah. Not just the health benefits, but just because of sustainability for our oceans.
Yes. I love it. Okay.
Sorry to get a little political. I'm going to have pear.
I got pear. Yeah,
okay.
I got an apple out just in case to show you guys. But, you know, once again, even though Haley and I are tag teaming this together, I could do it probably just as quick by myself because you can see, like, I'm just standing here. And so the salmon's cooking. I would be chopping. The other thing that you can do that I oftentimes do at home is I will have pre-chopped stuff that I use frequently to make it even that much simpler. But we wanted to show you guys, you can have a delicious, nutritious, well-balanced meal in like 5 minutes or less. You could do this for dinner too. And then also for dressing, you can choose your dressing. Dressing has a tendency to add up in calories really quick. And so that is oftentimes where you could fill your calories more with more higher volume foods than something like a dressing. We both really love Baker and Olive. My favorite is the peach.
I don't think I have
She has a wild raspberry and a cranberry pear. This is just a vinegar, but it has such a sweetness to it that I personally don't need to add oil to it. But if you love oil with it, fantastic. Just if you can stay away from seed oils, you guys, seed oils are one of the most inflammatory foods we can eat. And so if you can stay with things more like olive oils, avocado oils, coconut oils, those are going to be so much better for your health and for your inflammation.
Even just taking this olive oil spray or avocado oil spray and spritzing your salad with it real briefly and then throwing some balsamic on there is a super easy way to dress your salad.
The other thing is that we really talk with a lot of our clients about getting in adequate protein. Now, most people, not everybody, undereat their protein, so we're working with them on increasing protein. The easiest way to do that is to increase your protein portions per meal, or if you're a snacker, to make sure that your snack is protein friendly. With lunch, if I wanted to, I could easily add like 1.5 blades of salmon. Now, salmon's gonna have a little bit higher fat than something like chicken, but it's always easy to just add your protein portion. Now, these were two slightly different sizes, so this one is actually, well, pretty close to done. This one is good. This is how I like mine.
You can't see it. I like him, however.
So now you can see, I'm just gonna try to turn this a little bit to show you. It just has a little bit of a sear on the top, no skin on the bottom, perfectly cooked and flavored. I like to add additional lemon juice. Is this one mine?
Yeah.
Additional lemon juice to mine. We just set it on there. And then Haley's needs cooked just a little bit more.
That's probably
is
good.
that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna stick it on there. And if we were tracking with specificity, what we would have done is just reset our scale every time. You just leave it on there the entire time.
Oh, there, we're at 0.
And so all you do is every time you add a new ingredient, you just reset it and it measures it out and you put it in MyFitnessPal. I have most of my meals that I eat commonly already pre-built in MyFitnessPal for when I'm tracking. It makes it really easy. And then with the oil, I'll probably do the cranberry.
I think that's what I'm going to do also.
And then I will typically do about, this is actually vinegar, I said oil. I'll typically do about 2 tablespoons on mine. And I even like it over the salmon. It's so delicious. And then I like to add a little bit of added salt and pepper to the top. And you guys, we are done.
Sorry, I have a dog at my feet who's like...
We have a super nutritious lunch that took us 5 minutes or less. We used the things we had on hand. I love to set myself up for success in terms of what we have. For instance, like most of my non-perishables, I order through Thrive just so that they're always on hand. Even my salmon, I'll order from Butcher Box or Thrive, or when I'm at Costco, I'll get it there. And then I always have veggies and fruit on hand. Oftentimes it's already pre-chopped. Today we wanted to show you completely from scratch so we can show you just how easy it is to get a super nutritious meal in. Whether you're doing this for lunch or for dinner, whether you have friends over and you want to throw it together, it doesn't have to be difficult. And honestly, this is a pretty cost-effective lunch too.
It is. It really is. So again, Emmy mentioned it, but we get our salmon from Butcher Box. You can get individually wrapped and sealed salmon from Costco, from Trader Joe's, basically from any grocery store that you shop at. And again, you guys, super healthy, super filling, protein dense. Yeah. We'll come around the front.
So I'll show you. And honestly, this is going to be less than 500 calories. And I could eat this every day, all day long.
And we do. We eat this.
Yeah.
We modify, if I don't have salmon, I might throw some chicken on there or shrimp.
Yeah.
If you don't eat animal proteins, you can use tofu. Yeah. Whatever works for you guys. Yeah. Super easy, literally 5 minutes.
Yep.
It took us a little bit longer since we were chopping and talking, but really, you guys, super quick, easy, good for you, easy to track, all of the things. This is a home run.
And we're here to help. So, we do this day in and day out. We work with our clients on trying to find simple solutions. If you have questions, if you want a free consult, go to macromavens.life, click the hop on board button. We are here for you. We would love to work with you. And thanks for making lunch with us today.
Yep. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.